All right, welcome to another episode of Levi in the Closet. Thank you guys for checking out the video. So before I get into my topic of the day, I like to start off every video showing an item out of my closet. Recently, I just picked this up, but it's still pretty true to my style. I've got other shirts that are like this, or not exactly like it, but that represent it. So without further ado, my item of the day: this dope Looney Tunes shirt, front and the back, like true vintage style. Like all the good Looney Tunes vintage shirts, you've got a front side and a back side. I can give you a couple examples here. All right, so here's the other one I got. Oh, I thought it did. Man, I was totally capping. But here's one I found. This was at the bins. I got this at a Goodwill bins. Actually, before I get into that, I'll tell you about this item. All right. So this was also picked up at like a bin type store. We got one that opened up in Brandon, South Dakota. It's not all donated items. Or I would say everything except for some are, unboxed and maybe missing a couple parts, like sent back to Amazon, sent back to any website, and they put them all in these long bins. Like, if you know what the Goodwill bins is, it's very similar to that, but on a smaller scale and a lot more new items, brand new items. So there's a multitude of one thing, like loofahs that have fish on them or something, like a fish and a shark, like a loofah, or I don't know, a bunch of different stuff. There's multiple of these things. So to me, it's not the same thrill of Goodwill, because then I kind of know what to expect. They're going to have some phone cases in there. They're going to have some, I don't know, like some picture frames or some, usually they don't have very good clothes at all. And usually it's all women's clothes. And this, the last Saturday I went in there and every item was 25 cents because they were trying to get rid of all this stuff. Because like I said, they have a lot of repeat items. The clothes are priced separately. It was $3 for clothes. And I found a bunch of Looney Tunes stuff. Like this, it had the tag on it still. It looked like it was probably from Target, maybe. Like this, probably like Target. And I found a bunch of other Looney Tunes stuff too. I found like, it was women's, but I talked about this in my previous video. It was women's sweatpants, and it had the Looney Tunes faces all down the leg. Like it had like Sylvester and Bugs Bunny and Marvin the Martian and Daffy Duck on there, like all down the pant leg, and then on the top it says Looney Tunes. And I thought, oh, that's so sick. I don't really like how they look on me, but still Looney Tunes, so I'm gonna hold on to those. Maybe as I fill out, as my legs grow, like maybe I'll fill them out a little bit nicer and make them stretch a little more. I don't know. I found a couple other shirts, really dope Looney Tunes stuff. I'm a huge fan, so everything I picked up there was Looney Tunes. A couple, women's tops. Like, if I ever get myself a chick and I feel like, hey, you could fit this, I'd like to see a little matching Looney Tunes theme. Like, we go out, we're both wearing some Looney Tunes. Like, okay. But anyway, I was talking about this one too. It doesn't have a back side. I thought it did. I got one other one somewhere here. I got this one at the Savers. This one does have a back. So this is what I'm talking about. Like if it's got the front and the back, that's quality. And so I was excited to find that at this bins. I found this one, like I was saying, at the other bins. A lady came up to me and she just said, like, oh, hey, this looks like, similar to what you've been going through at the bins, like stuff that you've been pulling out. And would you like to have this? And she just handed me this shirt, and I was like, oh, shoot. Because usually stuff like this, people are very stingy at the bins, if you've ever been. And then look at that tag, too, that vintage Looney Tunes tag. Oh, my gosh. I could go on and on and on and on forever. I love me some Looney Tunes. I like that. Just it represents an era to me. Just the animation style too, just the creativity behind it, the minds behind it. That's a lot of hard work went into creating these cartoons, in the very early stages, or like even any cartoon. But I digress. My item of the day. I'm going to pause here real quick before I get into my topic of the video. If you're enjoying my content, if you like my style, leave a like on this video. And just to support me, support the channel, subscribe if you enjoy the content that I'm putting out, if you like the videos I've been making. And also leave a comment if you're feeling a little saucy. Tell me, what you think about Looney Tunes. Like, do you have any really dope vintage pieces? What's your favorite piece to find in the thrift? Like, if you find this in the thrift, what gets you all excited? Definitely anytime I find Looney Tunes, it gets me excited, and especially if it's for a good price. Found that the blue one that's double-sided, I found that it was like $5 at Savers. All right, so anyway, getting into my topic of today's video. I've talked about this in every video damn near. I don't like to swear my videos, but anyway, but I've talked about this in about every video. I say this, but continuing to work on yourself, becoming the best version of yourself. And what really it got me amped up, a little backstory. I've been working a lot. I've been working a lot of days continuously. I had one day off, and then that was my day to clean the house, to meal prep, to do all the stuff that I didn't have the chance to do because I was working so many days in a row. I live by myself. Nobody's cleaning my house for me, and also just resting and recovering from all the work I've been doing. So I wasn't really going out. I went to the gym, like all these things on my day off. And so finally today I have a day off. Last night I went to the bar. I was like, you've been working a lot. I'm also going to go in later today. I'm going to work later today, get more hours. A lot of work I'm putting in right now, which is something that you should be doing. Like, if you are capable, if you're physically capable, just do it. Just grind it out. Like, it doesn't have to be, really hard manual labor, but whatever you do, just accept more hours, or just be like, hey, I need to work a little bit more. Just save as much as you possibly can because you're trying to level up, like save money. Don't just go out there and spend it. And so I couldn't really justify it. I was thinking, I was conflicted. I was like, I don't want to go to the bar, like spend this money that I just made. But then on the other hand, like, you made enough money, go treat yourself, just go out there. And, like, I've experienced this, and it's a small town. I don't know about every single bar, but just, in my experience here, anytime I go to the bar, there's usually some kind of occurrence, like, makes me think, or, just having a conversation with somebody. You can, just have, like, one-on-one conversation with a random stranger at the bar. You get to know each other, and then, like, boom, because you've seen them there, like, they're a local, you're a local, and now they're like your best friend. You walk in, oh, I know another person, like, oh, hey, Rob, hey, Willie, hey, hey, Joe, hey, Roy, hey, everybody, like, hey, James, hey, like, the bartender, oh, hey, Cheryl, hey, like, what's up? You can say hi to every single person because you've had these one-on-one conversations. And then last night was no different. I made up my mind. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go, not worry about the money. Just go out there, have a good time, not get too crazy because, like, I don't want to wake up. Like, I do have a bit of a hangover, but, that's the cost that comes with drinking. But I did have a feeling. I was like, I don't know what's going to be going on tonight. If it's going to be just like a party there, or if it's just going to be dead. I don't know what the vibe is going to be like. I'm just going to go see how it is. So I go to the bar, and of course, the locals are there. I'm chatting up the local guys I talk to every time I go to the bar. And then the other guy leaves. Like, him and I, we got really drunk not last night, but we got drunk one night. We're telling, like, terrible, dirty, racist adult jokes to each other, just like old school, just like telling each other, like really bad jokes. But they're funny because, like, we can understand that, it's just no hate. It's just a joke, don't take it so serious. But he ends up leaving. So I'm sitting there by myself, there's TV, watching TV, sipping my drink. Like, some people are talking over here, some people are talking over here. Yeah, like, it's all good. And I'm sitting there, and then I feel somebody tug on my hair, and I look, and I'm not comfortable with anybody doing that because, like, in general, I think that's rude to, be in my space or even touch me without me saying so in general. But also because of my dreadlocks, like, people want to do that a lot. I don't know if that's, just, like, if people do that to each other and I'm unaware of it, like pulling each other's hair. Like, I've never gone up to a stranger and just tugged on their hair before just because it looks a certain way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if somebody's got green hair, I don't walk up to them and go, like, yank on their hair. But anyway, I digress. And I was like, yo, whoa. And then, like, he sits down next to me, he gets a drink. And I could tell he was kind of, like, the fact that I said something, like, I wasn't shy about it. And I'm, working on developing that just to kind of, like, You know, if something doesn't sit right with me, I'm not gonna straight up punch this guy in the face. Like, I have restraint, but you know what I mean. I'll say something like, "That's not cool." Like, he got that from my response, and he did apologize. He said it a couple times, and like near the end of the night, he's like, I just saw your hair, and like, I didn't really mean it. I didn't mean it in that way. Like, I didn't mean to take it that way, and like, it made him think a little bit, because like, like, think about your actions. Like, I'm a person. I don't want somebody yanking my head. You know what I mean? Like, think about that. Um, and so we actually ended up having a really good conversation. We're sitting there chatting and laughing like we know each other for years and years and years. And the two guys sitting next to us, they're like, "Is that your dad? Is that your dad?" Because he's the older guy. He's got a beard. It was like a gray beard. He had kind of longer hair. Like, he came up to me and then we talked about that. And usually, the conversation, people ask me like, "Oh, how long have you been growing your hair? Like, what made you want to do it? How did you do it? Blah 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 blah." But like, I flipped it on him because he came up and he was pulling my hair, and he was like talking about like, "Oh yeah, well, I'm trying to grow my hair out too." And usually at that point, I'm just like, "Oh, okay, whatever." But I was like, "Well, how long have you been growing your hair? Like, what made you want to grow your hair?" Like, flipping it on him, and like, because that's also a good way to get people, to like you, is asking them questions about themselves. And like, they like to talk. People like to talk, especially if they're drinking. Because he was like, "Man, I'm rambling, I'm rambling, I'm rambling." And I was like, "No, it's okay. Like, you're here." And that's why I came to the bar, really. Like, I just needed some social interaction. Like, I don't necessarily want to be the one talking. Like, I don't feel like I have to be the center of attention. And usually it just, and maybe it's my own mind, like my own inflated ego, but like, I feel I walk into a room and then I become like a center of attention. Like, I'm talking to people, like, I can interact with them without being the loudest, without being crazy, like, I say something and the people listen. And especially now, like I've said before, you get to know all these people individually. So now they are invested into you as a person. They're like, "Oh, that's Levi. He's an interesting person. He has something going on. He has something to say." So I'm saying something and people are listening to what I'm saying. And it wouldn't be that way if you just, people think, "Oh, he's just belligerent. He's just drunk." Like, if you're shouting and you're like, "Oh, it's the government. It's, a conspiracy. It's, like, it's Russia, UFOs, and nuclear missiles, and blah, blah, blah." Like, just chill. Like, maybe he's had too much, but you just, like, if you sit down and have a rational conversation like I did with this guy, he told me a lot about himself. Not to give out too much of this guy's personal information, but he talked about how he had recently been divorced, how he's trying to work on himself, and that was just kind of the underlying theme, is like, he is older than me, and people thought he was my dad. They kept asking, like, "Well, is he like your uncle, or how are you guys related?" And blah blah blah. I'm like, "Bro, we aren't even related." And like, I could tell, like, he was even trying to joke to the guy. He's like, "Yep, I'm his uncle or whatever." And I said, "Oh, yep, he's my cousin, but he's also my dad," or something like that, because like, it's a small town. I'm related to a lot of people here. I'm like, "It's my cousin, but it's also my dad." I digress. And I felt like that was very, like, it was divine intervention. We even talked about that, because he was saying, "Well, I wasn't sure if I was gonna go to the bar. I didn't know if I really wanted to come." And I was thinking, "Oh, I'll just go home." And I came, and this is the part where I'm like, I don't know, because I didn't want to go there and get super drunk. But like, we're buying each other drinks, or just sitting there having a conversation. We finish your drink, and then you buy each other another round, or like, somebody else bought a round of shots and I didn't take one, but like, everybody else takes a shot. And so, like, you know what I mean? It's just, that's the only part that I'm not exactly thrilled about, is the drinking part. But on the other hand, we ended up having a good conversation. Maybe that kind of, that looseness of the tongue, if you can pull it back, if you have self-restraint, but it loosens you up a little bit. Like, it gives you a little bit of a loose tongue. So I felt comfortable I could talk to this guy about, what I talk about on this channel. Like, the system is setting men up to fail. It's setting us up to just be, I can't think, like, stagnant, or there's another word for that I can't think of, but just like, we aren't ready to stand up and defend ourselves. Like, there are some that go out and defend their country, but then for the wrong reasons, or maybe, it's just patriotism or whatever it is. But, is a man ready to stand up and defend his household? If the government comes and says, "Hey, we're going to be living in your house because there's war times right now. We're going to come in, we're going to live in your house." Are you just going to be like, "Oh, okay, come on in"? And then they live in your bed. They eat all your food. They, like, it's war times, like people come in, they're like, I'm military, let me live in your house, you know, like maybe, you know, I don't even know, like, uh, that's how it was at one point, maybe not in the United States, but that's, you know, wartime, uh, I don't know, if people aren't willing to stand up for themselves, like stand up for your stand up to your oppressors, stand up to anything that you don't agree with, anything that's against your beliefs, are you willing to stand up for that? And a lot of men, I think they're just passive, you know, they're not willing to go that extra mile in self development to, you know, be confident in your opinion, be confident in what you have to say. If you don't feel right about something, stand up for that. If somebody's being treated a wrong way, then stand up for that. And again, more confliction. There was a guy there, and he was just spouting about, you know, the whole Jason Aldean thing. And I made a joke on it because he said, he was saying something about like, well, you know, here we're a community, here we're, you know, we're a family, blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, don't get all liberal and don't get all political on us. And then I was like, I don't think you got the joke, but then I said Jason Aldean, and then he got it. And so then he starts spouting about all this stuff, and he's shouting at every guy at the bar and stuff. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. And I don't have a problem with Jason Aldean. I don't have a problem. He put out another song or something. It's, I can't remember. Something about like what's going on with that. It's all, you know, nothing really to do with me. But anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. But don't be that guy at the bar. Even, you know, even if he was right, which he was, I was listening to him. He didn't really have anything wrong that he was saying, but just the way he was going about it. You know, if you sound like the shouty drunk guy at the bar, people aren't going to listen to that because it just sounds, you know, belligerent. You know, they think, oh, this drunk guy at the bar. And it's not, oh, we're having a logical conversation. He just started talking and like, he started talking about that all on his own. Yeah, so anyway, I digress. I'm going to take a little vape hit here. And I'm a nicotine addict. I can't help it. But I have been cutting back. Just to let you guys know, I've been cutting back on the vaping. Just for self-improvement, you know, I've been cutting back on the drinking. Maybe not so much on the cannabis consumption. That's my vice. And vaping. But I'm trying to cut back just for health reasons. Because I almost drowned. I could have died. And I realized, like, my lungs, it's probably affecting my lungs and my ability to breathe properly. Like, when I walk and, you know, have a normal pace going, it's not hard to breathe. But, like, I was treading water. And I've always been good at swimming. Just to kind of tell you guys what's going up. This is just a little intermission segment here. Me and my friends went to the lake. It's just called the lake. It's in Laverne, Minnesota. And we ended up getting some kayaks out there. There was a guy there, he had a bunch of kayaks. So we got these for free. We just got to go out there and kayak. I saw these people out there paddleboarding, and they're sitting on it. So I was like, oh, I could do that in a canoe. I stand up and I'm like, and I spin around and I'm looking at them. They're like, jump out, jump out. And so I just backflip. Maybe I did tell this in another video, but I'm in the water, I'm treading water, and I'm out there with no life jacket on. Like, we didn't have life jackets on. That was probably not smart. And I tried to get back in, and I'm almost in, and then it flips over on me, and then it gets a bunch of water inside of it. So the next time I try to get in it, then it goes underneath the water. It's under the water, you know. And I was thinking this thing is going to sink like a rock to the bottom, but it was still there, like right above the water. My friend grabs it, pulls it to shore, and I'm trying to swim. And I had to grab onto my friend's kayak, and she kind of was pulling me. And then, like, eventually I got close enough, I swam to shore. But, man, out there, it was so hard to breathe. And I finally was able to catch my breath. And I was out there finally, and I was like, man, it's probably this vaping. Like, I've been going to the gym, working out, getting my body fit. This shouldn't be a problem, you know. But internally, like, what are you doing internally? Are you eating healthy? I'm trying to. You know, vaping and what you consume. Like, I eat a lot of junk food, especially, you know, with the cannabis consumption. It just makes me want to snack. Like popcorn and chips and crackers and cheese and, you know, like, anything really terrible for me. But, so anyway, yeah, I could have drowned out there. And what would they have done? They didn't have life jackets on. My friend's girl, she's not strong enough to just, you know, jump in and pull me out. He had a dog with him, and they were already at the shore. Like, he'd have to come back out and get me. And I didn't like being in that situation. I don't like feeling helpless like that. And so I've been really cutting back on the amount that I vape, and eventually I'll quit altogether. It's just like the steps in the process. And that kind of, going back to originally what I was talking about talking to this guy at the bar, I kind of pieced it together. He told me how long he's been growing his hair out. He said about 2 years now. He said he's been divorced 2 years on this Thanksgiving. And so I was like, oh, okay, like I'm connecting the dots, like he got a divorce and he's working on himself. He's letting his hair grow out. Very similar to my journey, like I told him that. I said, like, okay, you're on the journey. I can tell you're letting your hair grow out. We're talking about, like I can tell that you're working on yourself. You're getting there, and that really inspired me. And just not even that I had to have any part in it, just hearing that another man is working on himself and that he's on this journey to better himself. And he was, kind of asking me questions about dating. He shows me this chick that he met at the bar. Like, she sent a selfie to him, and she said, like, oh, I enjoyed getting to know you, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, so what are you going to do? Like, are you going to continue to see her? Or do you want to see her again? Or is it just, like, you're going to hook up with her or whatever? And he was like, I don't really want to hook up. Like, we talked about it, and he's, spiritual as well. And so he doesn't really feel the need to go out there and just, like, hook up with a bunch of chicks. And so I was like, oh, okay, like, that's fine. I respect that, too. And, yeah, so that just got us talking about some really interesting stuff, and I was like, okay, this is a chance we can both kind of speak to each other. I asked him some questions because he's older than me. Like I feel like he had the life advice that he could offer because he's been through more than me. Like he's been through these things, and I think that's hard for a lot of people to do. Like, get outside of your bubble. Like, yes, you are the hero of your own story. You are the main character. You need to take responsibility for yourself. But there's other people going through life as well that are experiencing things that maybe, like they've experienced it before you have to. So they can say something to you. And if you ask the right questions, you find the right people, it'll save you a lot of hard work. Like they could tell you how it is instead of you having to go experience it yourself. Which I've learned is the easier route because in my younger years, I wanted it all to be, this is me doing it. I don't care what anybody says, I'm going to experience it for myself. And I still have that deep within me. Like, I want to form my own opinion. I'm not going to just say yes or no because somebody tells me to. I'm going to go out there and decide what decide my own view on things. But then also there's just some stuff I realize, like, okay, like if I have a question about something or I feel like this could really help me out, just don't be afraid to ask people, like, or just say something, change the conversation in that direction, mention something. It's kind of like a buzzword, you throw a word out there, and then since people like to talk, especially when they're drunk, you throw a buzzword out there, or you say a little phrase or something, or like something relevant, or, whatever it is, like what's been on my mind, that happens, and it's almost like mind control, but I'd just say it's psychology, understanding human psychology, and using it as a tool instead of using it in a toxic way. Because I've seen this too. And, this is kind of a side note. I've seen a couple videos on Facebook, and it's like psychology tips, like how to talk to people. Like you tell somebody, I can't even remember. Like if somebody says a put down to you, like somebody gives you a put down, instead of like trying to think of something clever or just not saying anything, you say, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And that's like a psychology tip or something. I'm like, that is the stupidest shit ever. Again, I apologize swearing on the channel, but that is stupid. You're gonna ask somebody what's wrong with them just because you can't think of something good to say. Like, just accept it. Like either work on it and become more clever and work on your wit and get a little quicker than that, or just don't say anything at all. Just laugh it up and just be like, all right, good one, you got me. Don't say what's wrong with you. Like, that's weird. And these channels, I've seen like one or two of them, and at the end of the video they say something like, subscribe to my channel or else you'll probably never see me again. And that right there, that's also toxic. And I'm like, this is the most toxic way to talk to somebody. Like, haven't helped the people that subscribe to them and listen to that, because that is that is toxic, like, mind manipulation, saying, like, especially saying at the end of your video, subscribe because you'll probably never see me again. Like, you should subscribe to somebody because you enjoy their content, or if you're getting value from it, or because you just enjoy what they're doing. Like, not because, oh, I'm never going to see this person again. And then, you know what? If you keep scrolling, and maybe not that same day, maybe like a couple days later, if you do the same thing, you're scrolling through your feed, a video of them will pop up again. And guess what? Okay, yep, you're just like a toxic person. You say, oh, I'm never going to see you again. You're never going to see me again. And then they pop up again. That's toxic right there. That's toxic behavior if you don't already know. They keep popping up after they've said goodbye. Toxic. So anyway. And also subscribe to my channel while I'm talking about it, because I feel like I can add some value. If you want value and you want to continue to work on yourself and you want to continue becoming the best man you can possibly be, you want to become, the best, most enlightened, most, physically fit, able-bodied person. And you don't have to subscribe to my channel to do this, but, I want to help you all. Like what I was talking about, somebody that has gone through it and somebody that's talked to other people that can give some advice so that you don't have to, because there's a lot of heartbreak involved in this journey, and I'd rather save you guys that. Maybe that's part of the development too. Like, maybe you need to get your heart broken a couple times. Maybe you need to go through some stuff. You need to go out there and learn what you like and what you don't like. There is value in going out there and learning for yourself and going out there and experiencing it, especially in dating, especially in life. Like, whatever you want, go out and actually try it. Go try it. Like, if you're interested in something, don't just watch videos about it. Go try it for yourself. Go find a new hobby. Go do that for a little bit. Invest a little bit of money. Go buy something. Get a little drone or something. I don't know. I've been thinking about that. Getting a little drone like this, and you get a little VR headset like this, and it's like a video game. There's guys that do that at the bar here in town. They get together every, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. They get together and they just do drone racing inside the bar. Because it's got these high ceilings. So anyway, this is what I'm trying to say. Just continue to work on yourself and just figure out what you like. If you've been in a relationship for a long time, if you're getting out of a relationship, or, if you're just, and you're trying to become the best man that you can be, you need to do these things just to keep yourself entertained, keep yourself in good spirits, because it can really get depressing being alone and working and, just grinding so hard and being like, man, what is all this for? Like, what's the purpose of all this? Like, it's easy to think that and be like, man, I'm just doing this all for nothing. But then remember, like, for one, you should have in the back of your mind, I'm becoming the best man I can be. The future man that I will become is going to be grateful to this past me for thinking and, developing these new skills and interests. And who knows, you find a new hobby, you stick with it, and it creates a whole new path in life. It's like the Marvel movies, like, you have unlimited options, unlimited futures. Like me going to the bar last night, I could have stayed home and watched movies on TV. I never would have had this conversation. I never would have felt motivated to make this video today. Like, I'm a little bit hungover, but I felt really motivated to make this video, and it's probably running a little bit long. So again, I appreciate it if you guys are following along here. And so drop a like. If you're following along, if you're here, drop a like. And so anyway, gonna hit the vape again. It's one of my vices. So yeah, just continue to work on yourself. That's what I'm trying to convey here. It doesn't matter where you're at in life. I used to believe, like, at some point it's just too late, but it's never too late until, it's too late when you're laying in a bed, you can no longer move, you can no longer talk. But if you can think, if you can comprehend in your mind, and you can think, and you can pray, and you can think, God, like, I've done the best I can up to this point, thank you for this life, and thank you for blessing me, and, thank you that I'm here, and that I've been able to affect other people, and that I've been able to learn and grow from my interactions with others. Thank you, God, and take me. Something like that. Like, if you can no longer move in bed, at least you can think. Or if you can't even think anymore, then just accept it. Or I don't even know what happens after that. If you can't even comprehend anymore, I don't know. But, up until you're no longer physically able to move, you should just be continually trying to become the best person that you can be. And it's slow over time, it's gradual, but it's a steady incline. Like some days it's kind of like the stock market. Like there might be some dips, but you're growing up and up and up and up and up and up, and that's life. And you're just going to continue to grow and get better and become better, and you feel better about yourself, and other people will feel good when they're around you, because it's like at that point, and I'm working there, like I'm trying to get to that point where it's like no negative energy. Like yes, if somebody has negative energy and they're pushing against that, then I have to push back against it. You know, like I can't be pushed around. I can't be a doormat to people. So yeah, being a little firm, standing up for yourself, again, standing up for your beliefs, you know, mostly just standing up for yourself, because I can't be pushed around. Like, get your finger out of my face. You know, like somebody had their finger in my face like this. I went, get your finger out of my face. You know what I mean? Like, don't tolerate that kind of thing. Like, it wasn't a nice thing to do. But please get your finger out of my face. No. Get your finger out of my face. You know what I mean? So anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you guys got something from this. Thank you for checking out the video. I appreciate it. Every single one of you. Even if you're not a man, if you're a woman out there, if you're a woman, I got love for you too. And I hope that you can learn from this. Specifically, I'm trying to speak out to the men out there working on themselves, but you know, anybody that can find value in what I'm saying, anybody that can learn and that can grow and develop, you know, new life habits and, you know, healthy life habits. I hope that you got something from this video. So as always, love yourself before anybody else, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.